Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 22nd of November and we are going to deal with three very important topics which are in news. The first topic is a requested topic, but anyways it has to be covered because it is of importance and a lot of significance this topic attaches with itself. That is instability in Myanmar. Actually, if you talk about instability in Myanmar, the instability is there in Myanmar since 2021 February, when the military junta took over the administrative control of the country. Or in simple words, if I have to say, there was a military coup in Myanmar. This military coup replaced the democratically elected government. People obviously were not happy with this, and now the ethnic armed organizations, which is basically comprised of the common people only, they have started this, I would say, struggle against the military. There are two provinces in Myanmar, the Chin province and the Shan province. Chin province is bordering India, Shan province is bordering China. And instability is there in both of these provinces. The instability in Chin province, which is bordering India, is up to that extent that around 5,000 Myanmarese nationals have migrated into India due to this instability. This obviously is a cause of concern for India, and that is why this topic is significant. So, in detail, we will be reading about this instability, why it is there, where it is there. Then next is Global Talent Competitiveness Index. This index is released by a well-known B school of the world, that is in SEED. Now, what does this index reveal? This index reveals about the talent, means the workforce which you have. So how much capacity any country has to grow, attract and retain its talent. And countries like India, where brain drain is very high, people are moving out of the country, their performance will definitely be low. So India's performance or India's ranking on this particular index is 103, which obviously is not good. Earlier our ranking was 83, but now it has been 103, which simply denotes the fact that India is becoming unattractive day by day in terms of, I would say, talent acquisition and retention. Is it the fact? What is the, I would say, methodology which they use? Is that methodology universally accepted or correct? That is a big question. But as of now, we know that India's performance is poor. It is, I would say, the poorest among all the BRICS countries. BRICS countries are the world's leading development countries or developing countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So all this we need to see. Then dedicated coal corridors. Now, the coal ministry has come up with a plan that, as the demand of coal is increasing, demand of coal increasing does not mean that the share of coal in the energy output is increasing, but overall its demand is increasing. We need to transport coal more and more efficiently. Transportation of coal is necessary because coal is concentrated in the eastern part of India. And when I talk about the entire country's development scenario, the western part of India is more developed as compared to the eastern part of India, where we will be needing more energy resources like coal. Hence, it makes it inevitable to be transported from eastern part to the western part. That transportation should be efficient. And for that, these dedicated coal corridors have been proposed by the ministry. So, we will look into this topic as well. So, all these topics we'll cover. Now, instability in Myanmar. Actually, the story of instability starts in February 2021. In 2021, the election results had to be declared, which were conducted in 2020. This was, I would say, the third general elections after, the formation of the Constitution of Myanmar in 2008. The results had to be declared, but the military junta forfeited the elections, claiming that the elections were, I would say, not free and fair. Authenticity of 9 million votes was put in question by the military junta. It seemed like the military junta was looking for an excuse or was looking for a way to just grab the administrative control of the country. This obviously was not liked by the common man of Myanmar. Common people, hence, as a retaliation to the military takeover, started, protesting against it. And now this protest has, brewed into and culminated into, full scale, I would say, instability in Myanmar. The ethnic armed organizations in two states particularly, first the Chin state, which is bordering India, second the Shan state, which is bordering China, have started attacking the military personnel. They've taken under control various posts also, various checkposts, various military posts. This instability has caused a lot of disturbance in Myanmar lately. The disturbance is of that amount that around 5,000 people have migrated into India because of it. This is again a cause of concern for India due to Myanmar. So, this is basically the cause of instability in Myanmar, and we'll look into the details of this particular topic. The government of India has expressed deep concern over the ongoing fighting in Rekhavdar area in Myanmar's Chin state. This is Rekhavdar, this place. And this is Chin state, which is bordering India. And this is the Shan state, which is bordering China. These are the two areas where instability is there. The area is close to the border with India, opposite to the Zokhawtar in Mizoram. This fighting has led to Myanmarese nationals crossing the Indian side. It is reported that around 5,000 of the Myanmaris have come into India. The background. Myanmar has been in flames since the military seized power on February 1, 2021. Military seized power because it questioned around 9 million votes which were polled. They said that we believe that it is, unauthentic, these votes. This Myanmar Democratic Party, I think it is, of Aung San Suu Kyi, she was ready to form the government again for the second time, which the military people could not take it. So they said that this is not, I would say, free and fair, and they annulled the elections. They took over the reins. On this day, the new parliament elected after the November 2020 elections was to convene. But it did not convene because of the military coup. Ethnic armed organizations, EAOs, have joined the armed civilian groups because people were not happy with this military coup. Myanmar has a history of military coups. Myanmar for a very long time has been under military coups, or I would say military rule. I would say from the 1990s till 2010, and in 2010 there were elections. 2015 there were second elections. Then 2020 there were third elections, but those were, I would say, annulled by the military leaders. Now, ethnic armed organizations, they are causing disturbances right now. They have joined armed civilian groups called People's Defense Forces to take on the military in Myanmar. These groups have allied with country's self-declared National Unity Government in exile. This government is formed. So Aung San Suu Kyi and other leaders, who were promoting democracy, they have formed this government in exile in Myanmar. The resistance forces have captured two towns close to India-Myanmar border after fierce fighting. Rekhavdar is one of them and has resulted in the influx of some 5,000 refugees into Mizoram. Now, the current episode which happened in the Shan state, that is bordering China. It began on October 27 with surprise attacks in the Shan state in North Myanmar. I would say, who is attacking it? The Three Brotherhood Alliance. Three Brotherhood Alliance is formed by the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, the Tang National Liberation Army, and the Arakan Army. These three have formed three Brotherhood Alliance, and they are active in the Shan state of Myanmar, which is bordering China. The offensive was named as Operation 1027. Why? Because 27th of October, that is the 10th month, that is October, the date on which it was launched. The resistance forces are reported to have overrun more than 100 military outposts in the Shan state. This includes Chin Shui Hao, a critical point on the China-Myanmar border trade route, which is an important source of revenue for the junta. And China is, I would say, one of the largest trading partners of Myanmar. And, they've taken control over that that post through which the trade flows between China and Myanmar. That is something which is, I would say, substantial. Now, implications for India. Actually, when the military coup happened in 2021, India took a very cautious and calibrated stand. India did not outrightly condemn it, but yes, on the other hand, India was vocal about democracy. And, India created a balance because, India had to secure its interests also in Myanmar. If we would have outrightly criticized the military junta, then obviously China would have gained a lot of advantage out of it. It is already believed that the military junta is inclined towards the Chinese people. So we took this nuanced position, a calibrated stand, we had a balanced move, and we were largely silent on this because we wanted to secure our investments also. We have done a lot of investments in Myanmar. We have that Kaladan multimodal project, the India-Myanmar Thailand trilateral highway is running through it. Apart from it, many, developmental aids have been given to Myanmar. Many, I would say, Indian energy companies like SR, GAIL and all, they have done strategic investments in Myanmar. So, all these keeping in mind, and largely, Myanmar's army's growing proximity with China. We kept in mind this, and then, we decided to have this calibrated and balanced, I would say, stand. So, India has so far walked a fine line between expressing concern at the interruption of democracy. We did express concern about interruption of democracy in Myanmar and also engaged with the junta to protect its vital interests. That was important. The second immediate concern for India, the influx of Myanmar nationals in the border states of northeast India, and Mizoram they have come, but we should understand that northeast India is already volatile. There's been a lot of volatility in Manipur, which has been going on since the past few months. And 5,000 people coming into Mizoram, not Manipur, but Mizoram, can, start another, I would say, disturbance in the northeast, which is already disturbed. So, this is there. Then capturing of two important towns by the rebels. The anti-junta forces have captured two important towns close to the two border crossing points between Myanmar and India. Rikhavdar, we have seen that. It is close to the Zokhavdar in Mizoram, and Khampat in Sagaing region, around 60 kilometers from More in Manipur. Now, from here, 5,000 people have come in Mizoram, but this is also there, Khampat region or Khampat in Sagaing region in Myanmar. This is also under disturbance, and this is the place from where the India-Myanmar Thailand trilateral highway is passing. So we need, to address this situation directly or indirectly. We need to indulge, and we need to pacify this. Obviously, it is a difficult position. If we go and support the military junta, We will be going for suppressing the pro-democratic voices in Manipur. Oh, sorry, in Myanmar. And being the biggest democracy of the world, how can we do that? If we support the people, the pro-democratic voices in Myanmar, then again it will be, a big question that it will be going against the military junta, which is obviously close to the Chinese. So this is putting us in again a very difficult situation, but let's see what stand does India take. The Global Talent Competitiveness Index. 10 years ago, our ranking on this index was 83, now it is 103. And this index is released by INSEAD Business School. This index highlights the capacity and capability of the countries to grow, attract, and retain the talent. That talent means workforce. So, this competitiveness index talks about that. Countries from where brain drain is immense, obviously they will be performing low on this index. The classic example, India. India's performance is poorest among the BRICS countries. However, countries like Singapore, USA, Switzerland, they are top 3 performing countries on this index. So let us look into the details of this index. The Global Talent Competitiveness Index has seen India fall sharply from rank 83 10 years ago to rank 103 in its latest report, which is out recently. Now, about this index, it measures how countries grow, attract, and retain talent. It is an annual benchmarking report published by INSEAD. It provides a unique resource for decision makers to understand the global talent competitiveness picture. Index uses 2 sub-indices. First is input, second is output. The input measures regulatory and business environments as well as steps being taken to foster talent and retain it. The output side evaluates quality of talent. What quality of talent we are producing. So input and output both are, I would say, the 2 sub-indices of this index. Now the 2023 report, what does it say? It covers 134 countries. So we are ranked 103 out of 134, which is obviously not good. Singapore, Switzerland and United States are among the top 3 performing countries in the index. Denmark, Netherlands, Finland, Norway, Australia, Sweden and United Kingdom make up the rest of top 10. So we have top 10 over here. India ranked 103, worst among that of the BRICS countries. China remains at top of BRICS groups of countries, ranking 40, Russia at 52, South Africa at 68 and Brazil at 69. And India 103. Other countries ranking better than India. This is actually disturbing also. And this is actually, which is, I would say, if you consider this index to be true, this is actually, a kind of a reality check for India also. Rwanda, Paraguay, Tunisia, Namibia, Bolivia, Ghana, El Salvador, Gambia, Kenya, Morocco, and Eswatini. Do you have to remember this, memorize this? No. As per the report, other emerging countries have shown improvements on the index, with China, Indonesia, and Mexico being cited for special mention by INSEAD. So, this particular index is talking about, talent. Talent means talented workforce. And, it is talking about countries' capacity to grow, attract, and retain talent. And obviously, this talented workforce is, I would say, or can be the game changer in any country's development path or development trajectory. Because it is the workforce which is going to work and make the countries develop. Now, dedicated coal corridors. Now, the Railway Board has proposed that there should be dedicated coal corridors where, these trains which are laden with the coal, the mined coal, will be running. These dedicated coal corridors will be connected to dedicated freight corridors which are coming up in the country. Dedicated freight corridors are those corridors on which only freight trains will run, no passenger trains will run. What is the present scenario? The present scenario is that on the same tracks, the freight trains also run and the passenger trains also run. So that makes transportation delayed, less efficient and effective, which obviously hampers developmental needs of the country. Transportation of coal is also significant because coal reserves, they are concentrated in eastern part of India, and the demand of coal per se is there in the entire country. So we need effective transportation of coal if we want to keep our development, I would say, smooth and steady. Presently, also around 55% of India's electricity is generated by burning coal. Although it is reducing, but in itself, in absolute numbers, the demand of coal is increasing. So these are these dedicated coal corridors which will transporting only coal. What are dedicated coal corridors? The high capacity railway corridors is designed exclusively for coal transportation across the country. It is connected to dedicated freight corridors. The dedicated coal corridors will exclusively transport coal from Odisha, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh to other parts of the country. Now you see this image. This image does not show the dedicated coal corridors, but it shows the dedicated freight corridors. Like we have this eastern dedicated freight corridor, the red one which you are seeing. The yellow one is the western, which starts in Dadri and ends up in JNPT Mumbai. Then we have this north-south, which again starting in Dadri and going to Vijayawada, the blue one. Then east-west, starting in Mumbai, going to Kharagpur here, Dankuni in West Bengal. Then east coast, Kharagpur to Vijayawada. Southern from Madgaon to Gunta in this is Andhra Pradesh Tamil Nadu border. And planned sections, the dotted ones, they are planned sections as of now. They are not made, but yes, they are planned sections. Now, for example, there is a coal mine here in Odisha. Okay. So from this coal mine, coal has to be transported. So a dedicated coal corridor will come over here. Will make that dedicated coal corridor will make connectivity with the already existing dedicated freight corridor over here. Now, once this coal is reached on this dedicated freight corridor, then on this dedicated freight corridor, only freight trains are running. So from here it can go. Now, from here also it can go. Okay. So these are going to be the dedicated coal corridors which are going to connect with the dedicated freight corridors of the country. This is the, I would say, phenomenon which the railway board has proposed. Now, need of DCC. Is there a need? Yes. The coal traffic to thermal power plants is the most significant rail freight traffic, with congested networks causing significant delays in coal transportation. The volume of transport is high. That is why we need dedicated coal corridors. Second, cost. India's coal reserves are primarily located in the eastern region, but requirement of coal is there in almost the entire country. And when coal is required in the entire country, so you need efficient transport. But if their transportation is not efficient, then that will be a problem, because passenger trains are given, I would say, primacy over freight trains in the present setup, where on the same tracks the freight trains are running and the passenger trains are running. Energy requirements. In India's coal consumption and energy demands are projected to rise to 1853 million tons and 3000 billion units by 2030, posing significant challenges to its growth. So we need to think about this. Other issues: the railway's low handling capacity, inadequate loading and unloading infrastructure, and the non-availability of wagons are the contributing factors which are making this coal logistics or coal transportation inefficient. And we need to look into this particular segment, I would say, thoroughly. Initiatives for coal transportation. What have been the initiatives taken till now for coal transportation? The Ministry of Coal has released the draft coal logistics policy for 2022, aiming to optimize coal transportation infrastructure at the origin and destination points. Around 67 first mile connectivity projects are currently being implemented. So steps have been taken. Another step which has been proposed is dedicated coal corridors. Let's see how we streamline this particular domain, because this domain in itself is very, very important for the country's development. And with this, I've come to an end of today's session. I will be meeting you tomorrow with more such informative news pieces. I'm looking at the comments which you guys have given. Whichever topic among them will be of significance, definitely that will be covered. Don't worry. I've been covering a lot of them, and those will be covered in the future videos which are coming up. So till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste. Jai.